The newest killer in Dead by Daylight, the Singularity, has given me mixed feelings about them. This is due to the large gap in the killer's performance depending on the skill of the survivors. Yes, other killers like the Trapper, the Doctor, and the Pig are affected by the survivor's skill heavily. However, the extent of this with the Singularity is much larger. Newer players who don't know how their EMPs function are stuck against an incredibly oppressive and powerful killer, while survivors who know how to use the EMP and work together leave the Singularity essentially powerless. I'm sure everyone remembers their first game on PCB or live release of a chapter, where players were learning how to play as and against the killer. The Singularity felt very powerful, potentially one of the strongest killers in the game, for a period of about an hour or two. However, what I find more alarming than the strength of the killer is many killers are fun regardless of power, is a rapid decline in their pick rate. Like every killer, I saw many singularities for around 3 days after release. However, since then, since last week, I haven't seen a single singularity in 30 to 40 hours of playtime on Survivor. It has been clear that at higher MMRs, the Singularity is not popular, likely due to their power being completely cancelled out by a single competent survivor on the other team. As a game designer, it is not good to see such a sharp decline in popularity among a player base, as it highlights a potential fundamental issue with the character's design. This has been seen before with killers like the Twins, who also had a very large decline in popularity. And as we all know, with the Twins, that lack of popularity has meant there's been months where they've had major unfixed bugs and have had very little changes over the years. I think I speak for everyone when we say we don't want to see the Singularity fall to be like the Twins, and we want them to stay popular as they are a fun killer to play as and against. To Behavior's credit, they are trying to tackle these issues with a design. In the recent 7.0.1 patch, they've tried to nerf the strategy of carrying an EMP with you. However, it hasn't been enough to rectify the issue, and the strategy is still just used very commonly. I believe that with the current power design of the killer, it will mean that any changes they make that make the killer more powerful will make it way too oppressive for casual players who don't know how to counter the killer. Or anything they do to nerf the killer to help casual players will make it too difficult to play against a powerful survivor friends. And I think I speak for a lot of people that playing as the Singularity against a survivor with friends who are competent doesn't feel good, as all your pods just get removed in seconds of you doing anything, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Personally, I believe that the killer's power design is fundamentally flawed, as any changes they make to help newer players against the killers will be abused by Swifts, but anything they do to make the killer harder for Swifts to abuse will trickle down and hurt the more casual players too much. And I'm just reminding everyone that casual players make up the majority of the player base of Dead by Daylight. Many simple changes that have been thought of for the killer would have these consequences. For example, if you made pods reboot faster after being EMP'd, it would make it too easy to free gen with the killer. And I'm pretty sure none of us want a repeat of what we've seen with the Knight and Skull Merchant. But if you were to nerf EMPs further, it would make his ability too oppressive for newer players. I have a few concepts on what could be changed with the power. My first concept is to make the EMPs more like Nemesis' vaccine or the spray that Wesker has. This would mean having to stand still to activate the EMP, and it would take longer to charge it. In this extra time, if the survivor doesn't hide from the pod, the killer would be able to slipstream to them, and this would incentivize the survivor to hide from the pod, then activate it. Another concept, which I believe is probably my weakest, would be to remove its ability to spread between survivors. Players would have to find a teammate to remove the tag from them instead. My final and probably best idea on how to redesign it would be to have EMPs at set locations like the pig's jigsaw like traps or Freddy's alarm clock to wake up. This would mean that once tagged, the player would have to go to the EMP's location and interact with it, removing the tag from the player. Each pod would only be able to place one tag on a survivor before having to take 1 minute to recharge the ability to place a tag. In this time, the Singularity would still be able to slipstream to tag survivors. The Singularity will not be able to place pods close to the EMPs to stop them from being camped. As you can likely tell from this, the EMPs wouldn't be able to be moved around the map and portable anymore, which would reduce the ability of Swifts to completely cancel out the killer's power. And while, yes, it's my best concept, it's by no means perfect and has flaws. It would also take a full add-on rework if they were to do this, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. Overall, I really enjoy playing as and against Singularity, but it's a flawed killer, and I do hope that Behaviour managed to find a good balance for the Singularity without having to rework it. I would like to say as well, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as I am a small DBD content creator. But apart from that, goodbye.